Hey everyone, how's it going? I come bearing gifts. Actual freaky fresh Funkin news straight from the devs themselves. We finally got a new Funkin blog post for the first time since last year, and it's a pretty big one. This blog post, written by Elite Master Eric, one of the game's coders, is titled Charting a Course from Frustration to Delight, and it's a pretty in-depth look at the new chart editor coming with the Funkin update. I highly recommend giving it a read through yourself, as in true devlog fashion. It's an insight into the author's thoughts and feelings while creating the features they're showing us. Whereas I'm pretty much just gonna abridge it and then talk about other things briefly. There has been another, albeit smaller blog post since this one, but it doesn't cover anything we'll be talking about today. All right, here we go. The first bit of exciting Funkin news is a new song called Artistic Expression, the theme of the new chart editor, and the author of the devlog actually recommends listening to this song while reading. This is the first new Kawaii Sprite song we've heard for Funkin since the Darnell leak. The song itself and its presentation are very reminiscent of Mario Paint, and the very clean visualizer by Peepo173 gives me the sense that I'm going to be hearing this song quite a lot once I actually get my hands on the chart editor. Speaking of, let's see what it looks like. The chart editor has been completely revamped and now looks like an actual separate program made for editing. There's drop-down menus, a timeline that shows BPM, time, and time signature, a visualization of the entire song's charting timeline and your current position, separate visualizers for characters' vocals, and get this, toggleable and movable windows for different charting functions. These windows that are currently shown are difficulty, metadata, offsets, notes, and events, each of which is completely positionable within the charting workspace. The red line across the charting grid itself is the playhead and represents your current position in the song. It too is completely adjustable. This was all made possible with Hacks UI, a user interface toolkit designed to be cross-platform, and is way easier to work with than the Flixel UI the original editor was made in. Within the Edit tab shows a number of keyboard shortcuts to make the process of charting much quicker. No longer will we have to bounce back and forth between copying and pasting individual segments now that the timeline is undivided. Also, the undo function is apparently infinite. There's also live input mode, meaning the song will play and your notes will be charted as you play them to give a rough draft. The same way you would record a live instrument in FL Studio, then proof later. We also get a nice look at audio offsets, a way to adjust the volume of individual tracks without having to re-export your project in whatever music program you use. Again, we see the nice audio visualizers to help pinpoint when certain tracks should start and stop. This is actually a huge lifesaver, as some music programs will cut the beginning and end of certain tracks when only exporting the vocals. We already know this from previous teasers, but now it's confirmed in an official blog post that the player and opponent vocals are now their own separate tracks. The audio tab also has the functions to adjust the volume of each track, as well as the hit sound and metronome volumes, and a toggle for the theme music. The devlog also shows us a new file format the chart editor will be using, FNFC, a simple zip file containing all the data and sound files required for charting. This means all chart difficulties will exist within the same file, as well as the song itself in all its pieces. The ninth rightmost column of the charting space is for events, mostly going to be used for camera position, as that's no longer tied to singing and non-singing segments of songs. The showcased events are play animation, set camera bop, zoom camera, and focus camera, all of which have easily identifiable symbols on the event timeline. New events can be easily modded in. The devlog also shows off a screenshot of a post-crash message, informing the user that a backup of their chart exists and can be recovered, though it's assured the editor hardly ever crashes. This is an amazing feature for those of us who have lost hours of our lives because Windows wanted to update, and that's the majority of what's been shown off, though that isn't everything, as this is simply a preview of what's to come and not necessarily the final product. Elite Master Eric mentions that the UI hasn't been finalized, as the artists are mostly focused on other aspects of the game, and there are a few features they'd like to add later down the road. A cut feature they mentioned was an animation preview and playback of the song's characters singing along with the chart, but it wouldn't work within the dialogue window, so it was shelved for now. If there's one thing that's apparent from this preview, is that when creating the new chart editor, there's a massive focus on making it as sleek and user-friendly as possible. Some of the listed inspirations include Mario Maker, GIMP, and even Psych Engine are very apparent when looking at some of the new features implemented. And I'm actually excited to use the chart editor and give feedback knowing the devs are receptive to it. One final thing I'll mention about the chart editor is that when Ninja Muffin uploaded the screenshots and videos in the devlog to GitHub, they included another image that wasn't featured. This screenshot, called Chart Editor Welcome, shows off the menu loading up a new chart, but shows off some things not mentioned in the post. There are options to create charts with or without Erect and Nightmare difficulties. We've known about Erect difficulty for years, but this is the first time we've heard of Nightmare. Or is it? The $10 million tier of the Funkin Kickstarter mentions a Nightmare AU, so it's definitely a possibility that there is a fifth difficulty. Or maybe it's just another name for the hard mode of a track, but only time will tell. Another thing hidden in this screenshot is a new song named Rough House. The name Rough House and Nightmare difficulty being shown in the same screenshot could be a cheeky reference to Twinsomnia and not an actual teaser, but again, only time will tell. Also, it looks like the ability to import old Funkin, Osumania, and Stepmania charts will also come with the editor, so that's pretty cool. What else before we go? There's there's a hidden video showing off a screenshot feature when clicking on one of the redacted words earlier in the blog post. There's probably going to be more quality of life and just for fun features in the upcoming release. Twitter users also recently discovered an account called FNF_developers popped up that has the description, official source for news on the full-ass Friday Night Funkin' rhythm game, developed by the Funkin Crew Inc., and many others. This is practically confirmed to be real simply because lead artist Phantom Arcade and coder Elite Master Eric both follow this account. The account itself follows a number of people involved with Funkin, like the devs, Senior Palo, Tom Fulp, and Newgrounds, but curiously is also following Fabs, a well-known coder in the modding scene. While editing this video, Phantom Arcade posted this in reply to a tweet asking how development was going, confirming Fabs is working on the game. The fact that the Funkin devs account exists doesn't necessarily mean that there's more news right around the corner, but if there is, we now have an official source. In addition to this, the main page of Funkin.me has a GIF right above the website visit counter that says under construction. I'm only mentioning this because I'm pretty sure it's a new addition, but I'm not 100% on that. One last thing for real this time. When reaching the end of artistic expression on YouTube, the annotations link to an unavailable video. Clicking it just brings you back to artistic expression, so there's a very good chance that this privated video will become public at a later date. So just keep an eye on that for now. Alright, that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and until next time.